Hey you guys, welcome back and Happy New Year. I hope you all had a great holiday season. So my first video this year is going to be taking a look at GTA 3. Now a lot of Liberty City you can actually see just by playing the game normally, but one thing we don't normally see is what's happening outside of the cutscenes. So this is what I was really interested in exploring.
Sorry babe, I'm an ambitious girl.
Like in the opening scene, what happens to the unnamed accomplice? Well, take a look at this in slow-mo and see what you think.
You're just small time.
Also, check this out. If we move the camera back to the bridge, we find a second model of the police wagon that's in the escort scene, and that's because this is the replacement model for the moving vehicle, and you'll get to see this coming up right now.
Come on! You're gonna be sorry. Aye, get lost.
Hold on a minute there. Where did the two guys take that prisoner? Let's go and take a closer look at this.
Aye, get lost.
Well, as it happens, they just hide out under the bridge. I remember searching for the Liberty City Bank that appears in that opening scene when I played this game way back in 2001, but of course could never find it, and there's a good reason for that, which is it's not part of the playable map. A lot of you may know this, but it's now known as Ghost Town, and we have to fly outside of the map to get to it. But here it is, just as we see it in the opening scene, bank trucks and all. We can even see the alleyway where we get shot by Catalina. There isn't too much to see inside the bank, of course, it's just a texture, and behind that it goes to the outside of the map. And the problem with Ghost Town is unless you're using certain mods, pretty much none of it is solid to stand on, hence the name. Subscribers who have been with me a while will know I do love a good glitch, and there is one at the very start of GTA 3 that you can try, and it allows you to access and take an early look around the second island, albeit only for fun as you can't access the missions at this point.
Wait here, man, while I go in and talk to Luigi.
Let's get back to cutscenes now, and let's face it, there are plenty to choose from, so I've only picked a handful or we'll be here all day. In this one we can see how 8Ball, once out of shot of the camera, freezes inside the building, and this actually happens quite a lot during various cutscenes on different missions.
Upstairs. Or maybe you could do me a favor.
Just like Kenji, always trying to play with my toys. My police source indicates that the FBI has mounted a surveillance operation at key locations around the city.
Me and the fellas need to talk business, so you're gonna look after my girl for the evening. Hey,
One of the favourite things that I
butt.
found during any of the cutscenes was a guard that I didn't even know existed
And there
inside
she is,
Salvatore
the
Leone's
one and only
house.
Queen
In
of
fact,
Sheba.
he stood
Be
there
shitty
during
if you
most
wanna
of
know
them,
what-
although
There
you
you
would never
shit.
know because it's almost like the developers cut him out using the camera angles on purpose. In fact, we only actually see him twice, and I had to watch each cutscene that takes place
There she
inside
is,
the house very
the one and only
carefully to
Queen of
spot him,
Sheba.
even after
The one and
finding
only
out he
Queen
was
of
there.
Sheba.
Yeah, I'm sure your new lapdog has everything covered. And isn't he big and strong? Hey, Fighter, let's go visit Chico and get some party treats.
Bomb the Base Act 2 was probably my favourite mission in GTA 3, and it also has a great scene where 8-Ball runs off the ship that's blowing up before it sinks, so for that reason I thought it'd be worth taking a closer look. This is the normal scene that we would see, however from this view we see that 8-Ball never enters the ship, and I also wanted to show the ship sinking underwater. It does eventually disappear after it submerges and the loading screen appears.
My sister speaks highly of you, though I'm yet to be convinced that a guy Jin can offer anything but disappointment. Perhaps you could help deal with a situation that has me at a disadvantage. Of course, failure has its own disgrace.
We spoke about Ghost Town earlier, but there are several other places we see during cutscenes that the player wouldn't normally be able to access, like the one we just watched, where we meet for the missions for Kenji, which takes place on top of the casino roof. Funnily enough, if we take the camera into the swimming pool, unlike most we find on GTA 3, this one is very deep. In fact, it's almost like a secret cave. And if you do manage to get your character up here like I have, you'll find that some of the flooring is solid, including the swimming pool, which isn't that surprising because we're not really supposed to be here and we can't swim in this game, but you'll also find that some isn't so solid.
A valued resource, an old Oriental gentleman I know, has been kept hostage by some South Americans in his patria.
Another one of these places is where we meet Donald on his rooftop apartment. Again, by getting my character up here out of the cutscenes, we can find that although unlike the top of the casino where only some of the floor was solid, here it's all solid, but the scenery isn't, so there isn't really too much we can do whilst up here. Therefore, there's only one thing to do, and there's also only one way to get down.
The real question is, did you turn up to rescue Maria or to get me back? Well, I got news for you. Shooting you will be a pleasure, but dating you was only business.
Skipping right through to the last mission, this cutscene was quite interesting to watch from the outside, as a lot happens. I'm not going to talk through it, but check out how the characters move off camera.
The real question is, did you turn up to rescue Maria or to get me back? Well, I got news for you. Shooting you will be a pleasure, but dating you was only business. You are muy pequeñito, amigo. Throw over the cash. You have been a busy boy, but you haven't learned. I'm not to be trusted. Kill the idiot!
Now, that all happened pretty quickly, but did you see what happened to Catalina at the end? If you were watching closely, you'll have seen her slide off to the left, and if we go inside the mansion with the camera, not only can we find a tree for some reason, but Catalina is stuck inside these steps. And if I zoom right in, we can even see her lips moving. Any lip readers out there, please let us know what she's saying.
We're gonna have such fun, cause you know, I love you.
Alright, one last cutscene, and how do Claude and Maria get through the dam so quickly? Let's take a look from another angle.
The sound of explosions shook nearby homes as people ran for cover.
I love you. I really do, cause you're such a big, strong man, and that's just what I mean. I love you. I really do, cause you're such a big, strong man, and that's just what I mean. Anyway, what was I saying? I forget, but you know what it's like, don't you?
So there we go guys, that's pretty much it for the cutscenes, but there are other parts of GTA 3 that I still want to show you that you may never have seen before. Whilst I'm just letting this cutscene play out before we move on, if you do want to see some more extras from GTA 3, I'll leave a link in the description of how you can come and join me and see them soon.
This one cost me $50.
Alright, I don't know about you, but I always wanted to know what was on the ship. It's not the one that we sink during the mission, but the other one that has no access to it. And I was quite surprised when I flew inside. As you can see, inside we can find these lifeboats, and it's not just one or two, but quite a few. And we can also find some stairs coming down from the top deck, which makes me wonder whether this was ever going to be used at some point and then dropped. Unlike on the recent GTA, we don't get to see what happens inside the paint shop, so if you were wondering, here it is in a first person view. Literally, it just changes the car colour to a random one. Not really too exciting, but you may never have seen it before. Earlier in the video we viewed on top of the casino, but here's a quick look at how the effect of the interior through the doorway is done. In certain areas of Liberty City, we find buildings like this one that have water outside, so naturally you'd expect to see some sort of reflection in it. When we take the camera into the water, we find that it's no reflection, but a 2D copy of the front of the building just flipped upside down. But it gives quite a cool effect. And for those who saw it, you'll remember we saw this recently in another video. In fact, this technique was quite popular in older games. The last thing I want to show you guys in this video is inside the Liberty Memorial Coliseum, because if like me, you are terrible at flying the dojo, and I mean seriously, I don't know how people fly that thing, but therefore there's no other way of really seeing inside that I know of, so you may have never got to see and witness the home ground of the Cox. No, seriously, this is the home ground of the Cox, I'm not just saying that. Unfortunately, however, the ground isn't solid, so I can't run around the pitch like a player would. But that is it for this episode, guys. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Come and join me again for the next episode. Also, take a look in the description for how you can view extra content if you want to see more. Otherwise, I'll catch you soon. As always, take care and stay slippy.